Hello! Welcome to this episode of the channel, where we journey together into the heart of ancient legends, to a world where kings ruled for 100 years, fought demons, and sometimes became their own worst enemy. Today, we're going to hear the story of one of the most famous legendary kings of Iran, Jamshid, the king who built the world, created Nowruz, and then fell from the very heights he had reached. If you think it's only in modern stories that people rise from nothing to greatness and then lose everything with a single mistake, wait until you hear the story of Jamshid. Let's go.
A long time ago, so long that even the legends can't remember how many thousands of years it's been, the world was dark and wild, filled with fear, filled with confusion. But then kings arose, not through war and bloodshed, but through wisdom and knowledge. They taught people how to live, how to build, how to survive. And among all those ancient kings, there was one whose name still lives on in the legends. Jamshid, the king who ruled for hundreds of years and in the end thought he had become a god.
Jamshid was more than just a king. He was a visionary. When he came to power, the world was full of pain and poverty. Harsh winters, incurable diseases, hunger. But Jamshid changed everything. He taught people how to weave clothes and keep warm. He organized society, workers, soldiers, physicians, artists. He drew metals from the earth, gold, silver, iron, and forged tools, weapons, and palaces. He built roads, bridges, bathhouses, and cities. He even used creatures called divs to help build grand works. But above all, he was a healer.
He taught medicine, created remedies, and saved people from disease. During his reign, people lived longer, healthier lives. For hundreds of years, there was no war, no plague, no famine. It was truly a golden age. One day, at the start of spring, Jamshid sat upon his golden throne, a shining goblet in hand, watching the sunrise. He said, "Today is a new day, a fresh start, a new dawn." And that day became Nowruz, the new day, the ancient Iranian New Year that is still celebrated to this day. But centuries of power can change a man.
Jamshid, who had brought such prosperity to the world, began to think it was all because of him. He said, "I gave life to this world. I destroyed disease. I brought order to chaos. So why should I not be worshipped? I am the god of this earth." And at that very moment, something in the world shifted. In Iranian legend, kings possess something called Ferdowsi, a divine glory, a radiant light that follows them. As long as the king remains humble and just, that light stays with him. But if he becomes arrogant, it leaves.
And when the far left Jamshid, everything began to crumble. While Jamshid was lost in his own pride, in another part of the world, a different king was rising. His name was Zahak. He was neither wise nor kind, but he was cunning and merciless. One day, the devil himself appeared to him and said, "If you want to rule the world, kill your father and take the throne."
And Zahak did exactly that. When he became king, the devil came to him and kissed both his shoulders, and from each shoulder grew a black serpent. The serpents could not be killed, and they were hungry every day. Hungry for what? The brains of young Iranians.
To keep the serpents calm, Zahak killed 2 young people each day and fed their brains to the snakes. But killing was not enough for Zahak. He wanted to conquer the entire world. With a dark army, he marched east. When he reached Iran, he saw that the people were no longer loyal to their king. Jamshid, who had once been beloved, was now alone. No army, no allies, and no divine light. Jamshid fled.
For 100 years, he wandered through mountains and deserts, from city to city, seeking refuge, but no one would take him in. In the end, Zahak caught him, and the great king, the man who had once built the world, was cut in 2 with a sword, his body discarded like a traitor. Jamshid had ruled for centuries. He had brought medicine, technology, built a society, and gave the world Nowruz. He was truly a genius of a king. But in the end, he believed himself more than a man. And that belief took everything from him.
Even in the oldest legends, the mightiest kings fall when they forget humility. But the story doesn't end there. For Zahak's reign had only just begun, a dark rule filled with fear and blood. Until one day, an ordinary man, a simple blacksmith, rose up against the king of serpents. His name? Kaveh. And his uprising? The very first revolution in legend.
So, if you enjoyed the story, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss the next episode, Kaveh the Blacksmith and the Serpent King.